this is Ananya and today is the third day in the OOP series. So I thought of making up a quick video to understand a basic simple concept on class variables and instance variables. Now a simple definition of what are class variables and instance variables. It's pretty simple. Variables at the class level are known as class variables and variables at the object level are known as instance variables. Now, we have had a lot of experience till date with instance variables, but class variables will be a little new to you. So, here are 4 important points that I jotted down that you must remember about class variables. It's pretty simple. You don't have to sit memorizing anything. They are just facts, and as and when you all go through the let's say examples, you all will learn or know how to go about them. The first one. Class variables are always defined within the class. Second, they are owned by the class. Third, they are shared by all the instances that belong to the class. And the last one, they have their position outside of all methods and just after the class header and just before the init method. Now that seems a lot of important points to remember, but trust me, as and when we'll be solving 2 to 3 examples today, everything becomes clear. Let's get started with class variables examples. As you can see, I have a class student, and if you can see here, I have a variable named standard. Now, the standard is given 5th, let's say a 5th grade student, right? Now, if you see the position of the variable, it is exactly after the class header. And after this, you may have any other sort of method going on. Now, just in case you are confused about what is a method and what is a function, in procedure-oriented programming, methods, or rather say functions, okay, functions are known as functions itself. And in class, or rather say OOP, functions are known as methods. It's as simple as that, no confusion. So method is equal to function basically. Now, coming back to this, we all know this process. I'm creating an object of the class student here. And now I am printing the class variable standard. Now, we shall have an in-depth example at the end of this lecture, so please stay tuned to understand in detail. This is just a basic example of class variables to get you all started. The position is exactly before any other methods that you all will define and exactly after your class student, and it's available throughout the class, okay? The scope is throughout the entire student class, and the other aspects we'll see to it later. Now let's print it and see what happens. Now basically, okay, see, you get 5th here, right, by this print statement. Now basically class variables are used when, let's say, you have a certain constant value that you are sure you want to use throughout your class for each and every method. Now that example again I'll be showing you at the end, so please stay tuned. Now this was all about class variables. Let's come to instance variables. And for each object or instance, the instance variables are different. Let's come back to the last example that we took in our previous lecture. What we had done is we had taken a class train and we were giving different train names and their source and destination. Now, what is an instance variable? You see these names here, the variables name, source, and destination. They are instance variables. It's as simple as that. So what you see, they are defined within a method, right? Hence, they are instance variables. And you can initialize them using the self word. We know all of that. So it's inside the method. Hence, it belongs to the object. So each object will have a different name, source, and destination, right? So this is all about instance variables. Now that we know about class and instance variables, let's make a program that combines both of them. What I'm going to do is, let me just remove this, and I shall be making a class volume which gives you the volume of a sphere. Okay, so what we are going to do is, let's say class volume, and I'm going to say what is the volume of a sphere? That is 4 by 3 pi r cube, right? So the constant 4 by 3 pi, I shall assign it to a variable constant. Now, if you can see, the variable constant will remain the same throughout my sphere or volume class. That's not going to change. Hence, I'm making it a class variable. So I'm simply going to say 4 by 3 into m dot pi. Now, m dot pi means actually I need to import the math class. So import math as m, right? This is done. Now let me create a method that says def sphere. And in that, always remember the first parameter must be the self word, and which basically assigns the object to itself. And then you have the radius. And I shall simply be returning the constant into 3, or rather say r raised to 3, right? So it's r cube. This being done, let's create an object and we shall assign the volume class to it. And let's say we'll print the answer. So you have sphere dot sphere. This is how we access any variable or method inside the class, right? Using object dot variable or method name. So sphere. And to that I shall pass, let's say 3. Okay, the radius 3. Now, just let me tell you, this program is going to give me an error. Why? Can you all think of that? Any ideas? Look, there one huge error down here saying the name constant is not defined. Now, where does the error lie? In this statement. Why? Because every time you have a class variable and you're trying to access it within the method, though it is available throughout, you need to mention where does it belong. So you either give volume dot constant, that is class name dot constant, or object name dot constant. So we need to say volume dot constant. And now if we run it, we are going to get the volume of the sphere. So let me replace the class name by the object name sphere. And let me run it now. And there you go. You also have the answer in this case. You just need to be careful of that. So remember this, in case you're confused, please make sure, just have a look. This is a small s and this is a capital S. So this will either be the class or object name, nothing else. Now, using class variables and instance variables, we can make sure that our code adheres to the dry principle. Now, what is dry? It simply means don't repeat yourself, so that we can reduce the repetition of the code. Remember, I had told you all that OOP is one of the main areas where we can reduce the repetition of the code and we can increase code reusability. This is one of its aspects. This was all about class variables and instance variables. They're pretty simple. I hope you all got the concept. I'll meet you all next time with something short and quick. And I hope you're understanding OOP well. All right, bye-bye. I'll see you all soon.